Whodunit is a real roller coaster of an episode. This is the 13th episode of the third season of Cheers, directed, of course, by the wonderful James Burrows. And there will be spoilers from this point on. Also, please don't look at IMDb if you haven't seen this episode yet, because I feel like the description on IMDb gives away too much. I, however, will be giving a lot of information, so big spoilers from now as I go into quite a bit of detail about this episode. We start off with a relatively entertaining introduction with Coach saying that he can guess the ages of various patrons at the bar, and things going in a very, well, I was going to say unexpected direction, but I guess expected for Coach. And it was a very pleasant, nice way to start the episode. We then learn that Frasier and Diane are spending time with Frasier's mentor, Dr. Ludlow, played by James Karen, and well, they're trying to tell him he has a bit of food on his tie, and how that played out I really enjoyed, but I particularly liked Cliff and Norm's involvement. Cliff and Norm don't have a particularly prominent role to play in the majority of this episode, but they do with the tie scenario, and I found that rather enjoyable. But ultimately, it is Carla who tells him that he has food on his tie, and Dr. Ludlow instantly takes a liking to Carla, and they end up going out on dates. And Carla actually keeps it as a bit of a mystery. She's receiving flowers. It's really nice to see somebody being really nice and loving and caring towards Carla, because, well, it's a big contrast to how Nick treated her, put it that way. And I really enjoyed seeing Carla happy and spending time with somebody who clearly cares about her. Did I expect the episode to take the direction it took? I don't think so. We have two pretty big developments in a relatively short space of time over the course of, I guess, about 7 or 8 minutes. I didn't time it, but it's certainly from maybe just after the halfway point. And the first is that Dr. Ludlow asks Carla to marry him. Didn't see that coming. And I have to say, just before that, Frasier and Diane both scream when they learn about Carla and Dr. Ludlow. Really thoroughly enjoyed that. Really great bit of acting. I also love seeing Frasier and Diane. I don't know if I prefer Frasier and Diane to Sam and Diane. But however I feel about Sam and Diane, I really like Frasier and Diane. And I just think the way they responded was brilliant. The proposal was certainly unexpected. And the way Carla responded to that, I think, was actually very telling. And we get a speech later on from Carla about the kind of man she's looking for. And Carla puts up this front that she's tough as nails, doesn't need anybody, is a single mother and doing things her way. But here we have evidence that she does dream about having somebody there in her life, somebody there to support her and love her. And not only does she dream of that, but she has very specific thoughts about the kind of person she's looking for. And I only want the best for Carla. And based on this episode, I can see that Dr. Ludlow is not the right person for her. I had no doubt that he'd provide her with a very comfortable life, and I think he would shower her with love and affection. But if it's not the right person for Carla, then I think Carla turning down the proposal in not so many words is a very brave thing for her to do as a single mother to however many kids. She could very much just say, okay, then let's get married, you support us. But no, she's still headstrong and knows what she wants, and I think it's a very realistic response from Carla. Then we have, of course, the second reveal, and that is the fact that Carla is pregnant with her 6th child, which is kind of unexpected at this point. It hasn't been that long since she had her 5th child, and well, the way Dr. Ludlow responded to that I thought was pretty good as well. So all things considered, I really thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It also got me thinking, I wonder if one of the reasons why I love Cheers so much is that unlike most other sitcoms, they handle having babies really well. Most other sitcoms, whenever a character is pregnant or there's a baby, it becomes all about that. And they become the main focus. Friends does it well as well, but most other sitcoms just seem to focus so much on this baby or this pregnant person. I guess because it's a new thing, it allows them to have different angles for comedy that they couldn't do without the baby or the pregnancy. but Cheers handles it so well. And maybe that's partly because it's set in a bar, so it's not exactly somewhere where you'd have a lot of babies hanging around. And I don't know, I just feel like it's too much of a coincidence for me that most sitcoms become less good once a character becomes pregnant or has a baby, Friends being an exception. And Cheers does it very, very well. And I won't say any more than that about what happens going forward with pregnancies and babies, but maybe that's part of the reason why I love Cheers. It never had that moment where things started to go downhill or the focus was shifted in the wrong direction. For my personal taste, if that's your style of comedy or the kind of narrative you like, that's absolutely fine. But for me, I think it doesn't work very well. I feel like it becomes all about this one thing and other things start to lose focus, and we don't get that with Cheers. And I love Cheers for it. And it's probably just one of many, many reasons why this is currently my absolute favourite TV show. I don't know. Either way, Whodunit, brilliant episode, absolute roller coaster. Really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure I always will.